Hello and welcome to our live news update. I am Tanti Azar. The headlines. Akeredolu suggests every state should determine salaries and allowances of its officials. Jamb to prosecute 34 Utme candidates, 6 ad hoc staff. Our troops tortured Ukrainians, Russian army officer admits. In sports story, Folarin Balogun currently tops in League One's goals chart. The news in detail. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has urged the federal government to allow each state to determine the salaries and allowances of public officials. He faulted the current practice of fixing salaries and of allowances of public officials by the federal government to reflect uniformity across the nation. Akeredolu said the practice was unacceptable in a policy which prides itself as federal, stressing that the logic of mopping up revenues accruable to state and local governments into a general pool for the purpose of sharing is retrogressive. He stated this at the zonal public hearing on the review of the 2008 remuneration package for political, public, and judicial office holders in Nigeria by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission held at Akure on Wednesday. Akeredolu, who was represented by his deputy Lucky Aiyedatiwa, insisted that power must devolve to the federating unit for the country to lay claims to being a federal state. Still on local stories, Registrar of the Joint Administration and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, has said the board would prosecute 34 candidates and 6 ad hoc CBT staff for conspiring and thumbprinting illegally for candidates registering for Jamb examinations, thereby committing an act of impersonation, which is punishable by law. Making the disclosure in Kano on Wednesday by the Jamb registrar, who was in Kano to monitor the ongoing UTME registration exercise in the state, described it as hitch-free. Oloyede, who visited the Jamb headquarters at Mariri in Taroni local government area, said the board would not leave any stone unturned in checking malpractice in all its ramifications. At the Federal College of Education, Kano, the registrar showed evidence of malpractice where 2 ad hoc staff at the center were accused of thumbprinting a female candidate. He said the lady had confessed that the ad hoc staff thumbprinted on her behalf. Oloyede, who led other staff of Jamb to strategic centers like Bayero University, CBT Center, Test Computer Center, and Butali Computer Center, where 4 of the ad hoc staff were fished out for similar offenses of thumbprinting for candidates. Although the registrar gave them the opportunity to confess for the crime, the suspects stood their ground. Hence, he ordered the centers to take them to Abuja, where they would be handed over to the ICPC for prosecution. Moving on to the foreign story. Konstantin Yefimov, a former Russian military officer, the most senior officer to speak openly, told the newsmen in an exclusive interview of brutal interrogations where Ukrainian men were shot and threatened with rape. At one site in southern Ukraine, he said the interrogations, the torture, continued for about a week, every day at night, sometimes twice a day. Mr. Yefimov says that he tried to resign from the army numerous times, but he ended up being dismissed for refusing to return to Ukraine. In the world of sports, Folarin Balogun, a 21-year-old loan from Arsenal over to Kylian Mbappe and Neymar of Paris Saint-Germain as League One's top goal scorers after scoring a hat-trick for Reims. Folarin Balogun scored a hat-trick against Lorient on Wednesday, giving him 14 goals in just 18 games. He swiftly scored twice just before halftime and midway through the second half. This season, he and Mbappe might face off for the League One Golden Boot. The striker has 5 goals in his previous 3 games, including a stunning late equalizer against PSG in the top 5 leagues in Europe. The Arsenal Football Academy graduate has the most goals scored by a player under the age of 21 so far this season. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.